Hello everyone. Whatever you've been an answer of, there are some characters whose reputation precedes them. They may not be central characters, but they're certainly not forgettable. One of these characters is arguably one of Azeroth's most impressive alchemists. Small in stature, but big in the ego department. We are of course talking of Marin Noggenfogger. Noggenfogger is an influential guy, and if you annoy him while he's busy lounging around on a pile of gold, he'll tell you,
I don't have to take this! I am the Baron of Gadgetson!
And it's true. Gadgetson is not only prime beachfront property these days, thanks in no small part to the Cataclysm, but it's also the capital city of the largest of the Goblin cartels, the Steam Beetle cartel. Marin welcomes everyone to his city, with the exception of pirates. And because some of the best in the business, they ply their trading here in the city, it's entirely neutral to either faction, because they don't care whose money they're taking, as long as they're taking it. But Marin hasn't always been the Baron. When we meet him in Classic for the first time, he's standing around struggling with the heat. Before Deathwing made Gadgetson a seaside horse trap, it was stuck in the middle of the Tanaris deserts, and if you speak to Marin, he would ask for some help. He had heard of strange creatures native to the harsh desert of Tanaris that had developed glands to store water in, and he wants us to bring him some. This is a quest nobody in Classic wanted to look over, because it started the small series of quests, which eventually led to Marin, with a little help from his friend Sprinkle, developing his world-renowned Noggenfogger elixir. It's ironic that his name is Noggenfogger, because it sounds a little telling of the effects that his elixirs could have. In British slang, noggin is your head, and fogger, well, that is fog. Brain fog is when you can't really think straight, and everything feels a little unpredictable, and there's no more unpredictable a drink than Noggenfogger's elixir. Taking a sip of Noggenfogger's elixir, it will give you one of the 3 possible effects chosen at random. The first effect could give you a slow fall buff, similar to feather falling, which would last for 15 seconds. The second buff, it will make you smaller for 10 minutes. And then the last buff, that will turn you into a skeleton, complete with the animations for dancing, eating, drinking and laughing, and most importantly, it would allow you to breathe underwater for a whole 10 minutes. This breakthrough in alchemical wonders, it made Noggenfogger a whole lot of money, and after the Cataclysm, that money translated into power, with Marin now becoming the Baron of Gadgetson. It seems that his friend, who helped him with a special ingredient for the elixir, Sprinkle, she's also cashed in on a debt that he owed her, and the pair are now married, with Sprinkle standing next to her husband, still selling Noggenfogger elixirs to all. Their goblin love is strong, but it doesn't mean Sprinkle doesn't think about old flames. When Gaslow visits her sometime after the Cataclysm, a tale which is told in the Traveler series, she's more than happy to help out her former beau, without letting Noggenfogger know, of course. She's his little Sprinkle, standing at his side, smoothing his worries away, but one can't blame her for letting the mind wander to past loves.
All's fair in love and business.
Marin has stayed in the city, and he and his wife Sprinkle are still selling the Noggenfogger elixir to this day, but he's also ready to get his hands dirty and protect his city. In the Legion invasions that took place just prior to the launching of the expansion, Gadgetson was invaded by the demons. They're not interested in buying any of his elixirs, and they're scaring off business. Marin decided that these demons had to go, as he jumps into a large goblin shredder with twin flamethrowers to face off against his unwelcome guests. After getting rid of the demons, Marin would shout out to all that could hear, slightly discounted Noggenfogger elixirs all around. The Noggenfogger elixir is also a wonder of alchemical concoctions, where unpredictable reactions, they're not typically encouraged, but Marin is known as one of the best alchemists on the world, and what he lacks up for in brawn, he more than makes up for in resourcefulness. This resourcefulness and knack for potions, it led to Noggenfogger becoming a member of the elusive rogue sect known as the Uncrowned, slayers of kings and the downfall of empires. This organization is the one that rogue players join in Legion, with their headquarters being in the sewers of Dalaran. Here we find Marin, located in the vault, surrounded by his ever-increasing pile of treasures and gold. He was set for life after his Noggenfogger elixir, but he's not a goblin to underestimate. After getting his hands on a rare venom from an uncharted island deep in the South Seas, He had a machine built which could inject the venom into weapons. This forge, known as the Crucible of the Uncrowned, it's in Merrin's vault in the Halls of Shadows, and you're going to have to convince him to let you use it. You could decide to either pay him the 100 gold that he asked for, or you could threaten him with your new artifact weapons. Whether you threaten him or not, he still seems to know that it crossed your mind, and he's going to put you in your place by running an errand. He's the only one who knows how the forge works, and you're the one who needs it. Merrin, he will send word to Valera that for threatening him, or even daring to think about it, nobody gets to use the Crucible. To get you back in his good books, you need to collect 20 Ephrail, a flower that grows in Azuna. He could easily get his hands on some himself, but it's the gesture that he's really putting across. He leaves us with one final piece of advice. Next time that you hold a blade to someone's throat, consider who you're dealing with. With that clear, it's business as usual, and he lets us use the Crucible. Seeing as we proved so compliant earlier, Merrin has a proposition for us a little bit later on. As a money-hungry goblin, he had his ears pretty close to the ground on potential opportunities, and one had just come up. Trey Prince Gallywix has got his grubby green hands on a one-of-a-kind love potion, and it would be more beneficial if the grubby green hands holding the potion if they were Noggenfoggers. He is the only goblin that can replicate the potion, intent on making it available to everybody. For a fee, of course. Business is business after all. And remembering that Noggenfogger holds the keys to the Crucible, and that he's also very well versed in poisons, we aren't going to argue, and we go out to retrieve the potion, slipping in past Gallywix's goons, while he's enjoying a nice cocoa butter sauna.
Mooks, where's my cocoa butter? What part of cocoa and butter did you not get?
We race back to Noggenfogger, just as Gallywix finds out that his keys are missing.
Gah! Somebody stole the key to my safe! Oh, whoever did this is gonna pay. Mooks, find them. Find them! Why is this cocoa butter so slippery? Yeah, get me a towel! Whoever bought the slippery cocoa butter is fired!
Keep it. We'll have those love-struck schlubs throwing their money at us in no time.
Doing this and keeping on Noggenfogger's good side not only lets us use his Crucible, occasionally pick up treasure from his vault. He tells us later that having us around has made him even a richer goblin. We can tell that he means it, because going back to the Cataclysm, Noggenfogger, he didn't bother with the small stuff. And he would tell us,
You scratch my back, I'll pay someone to scratch yours.
But now he tells us, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. He's going to shake off the smell of the vault, and he offers to join us as our champion, to put an end to the Burning Legion and line our pockets with the wealth of Azeroth. With Noggenfogger as our ally, we defeat the Burning Legion and we push them back off the planet. You can still see Merrin enjoying amounts of gold in the Hall of Shadows, and if you travel to Gajestan, you can still catch him there too, standing next to his beloved Sprinkle as he sells the famous Noggenfogger elixir. Despite being the Baron of Gajestan and a member of the Uncrowned, Merrin, he has some spare time, and since the Mean Streets of Gajestan expansion back in 2016, he has appeared in the tavern.
Welcome to Gajestan!
In Hearthstone, he likes to shake off formality a little and refers to himself as Mayor Noggenfogger, having Azeroth's best alchemist who is capable of making the best poisons. It throws things into chaos, and chaos it certainly is when Mayor Noggenfogger enters the game. His effect is continuous as long as he is in play, and he makes all targets random. Just like in Warcraft, where you have no idea what effect the Noggenfogger elixir is going to have. In Hearthstone, if you play Noggenfogger, all abilities and all the spells which require a specific target, they're now chosen randomly instead. He's not into the idea of losing, so you won't hit any friendly targets, but any spells, hero power, combat, weapons, battle cries, and choose one effects, they're all chosen automatically. Noggenfogger is here to shake things up a little, and that is certainly what he does. As we mentioned earlier, the brain fog implied by his name, it comes into play here. You might not quite know what you're doing. If you try an emote, all emotes are chosen randomly as well, and he even confuses Bren Bronzebeard. Bren, he will usually select a minion and make his battle cry trigger twice, but Noggenfogger, he will make him pick a random target both times. Even his card text has been chosen randomly. It reads, this flavor text was randomly generated. If it happens to form words and make sense, that is purely by chance. With Gagistan being the focus of the expansion, Major Noggenfogger keeps getting pestered for interviews by Dora from the Gagistan Gazette, and he tries to gloss over problems to get more people to the city where they could buy his elixir. There are rumors that he is in league with some of the crime gangs in the city, but their gold is as good as anyone else's. And remember, business is business.
Glad I could help.
Noggenfogger is still found in the tavern and in the Halls of Shadow and in Gagistan. He is always willing to sell you some of his world-famous elixirs, but until we get involved in another one of his money-making adventures, that is where the story of Marin Noggenfogger ends for the moment. And let me tell you, one of the most beautiful last names that I've ever pronounced in a script. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you have any suggestions for cards that we could cover in the future, by all means, let us know in the comments down below. You could also subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time, see ya!